Do you like helicopter rockets? I do too. That's what we're going to talk about in this video. Hi, I'm Tim Van Milligan from Apogee Components. We're nearing the end of construction of the Heli-Roc rocket kit. In our last video, we put the hooks in to the blades like that. At this point, we want to check the dihedral, make sure all the blades are about the same height. So you could actually spin it on the ground and measure to see if one blade is sticking up higher than the other. And in this case, this blade is sticking up, so it doesn't have the same dihedral as the other one. If I force it down, it'll be better. The way you fix that is you can sand right here. You have to be very careful about doing it, but you'll stick your sandpaper in and gently go back and forth to increase the dihedral. Now the rubber bands right here, they go from the hook on the front end of the nose cone to the hook here, right behind the dihedral support. And to get them into the hooks, you kind of pinch the rubber band backwards and run your finger down there like that. And it's got to catch underneath that hook. There's a little metal post that we embed into the nose cone when we make them. If you have problems, you can take your hobby knife and you can actually cut away any material that gets in your way so that you can get the rubber band around. So go ahead and check all three rubber bands, make sure that they will go over those hooks. Sometimes it helps to have a pair of tweezers. Come on, the first one went in on so easily. Okay, that one's on. Okay, and the third one's on. So then you stretch them. You go across the dihedral support, and then you go underneath there like that. You're going to do that with all three of them. Now if you don't get it on right, just take it and pop it up a little bit with your fingers, just like that. Alright, so then when the blades are free, they will snap into place. And this is a better way to check the dihedral, because now you have the right tension on it. So this one's a little low, so I'll have to go and sand the other ones a little bit. But for right now, I'm going to continue moving forward. So the next step is to put the burn thread hole into the tube, because when we launch, the blades have to be down, and then they need to be down for launch, and then at the top what happens is we want them to spring open. And to keep them down, what we're going to do is we're going to wrap a piece of thread, and you're going to need to get your own thread because this is a consumable. It's kind of like a rocket engine. You burn it up every time. And we're going to put that thread around and through the tube, and we need to drill a hole. But I want you to take a look at this right now. You can see my blade is bowing a little bit. That's because I didn't seal the balsa wood. The instructions say to put the hole 2 inches forward of the fin leading edge, which would be about right here. And so if you can hold it there and you see a bowing, well, you're going to want to move that a little bit forward, because we want to minimize the bowing of the balsa wood. So for me, I'm going to put my hole a little bit further forward. And to put the hole in, you can either use a little drill bit or you can use the point on your hobby knife. And you just start it and you just twist. You don't want to plunge it. You want to twist because you want it to be a hole. If you just plunge, you're going to make a slot. And we don't want a slot, we want a hole. Okay, so then you see it's right in line with the fin right here. And I want to do the same thing on the opposite side, but again, it's got to be in line with a fin. Opposite would be right in the middle, but I'm going to move it off to the side just a little bit. So this is where I'm going to cut the hole. So one hole is here, and one is right there. I'm going to take a little bit of super glue. I'm going to put it into the hole and stiffen up the fibers around the hole, because right now they're a little bit frayed. There's like a little big burr right there. And I want that hole to be nice and clean, which means nice and circular without it any protrusions on it. So I'm sanding it a little bit, and then I'm going to take my hobby knife again and clean out the inside. Okay, so here's the hard part, because when we go to launch the rocket, first undo the rubber bands. If they're trying to pull up, they're going to be working against you. So now we're going to run a string through that hole and wrap it around the outside. Now the reason it has to go through the hole is because the ejection charge, what happens when it goes off, normally it pushes the parachute out. But this time we're going to use that heat from the ejection charge and we're going to burn the string, which is why it's called a burn string. So when the burn string is cut in half, it releases the string around the outside and allows the rubber bands to pull the blades up. So the hard part is getting this string through the two holes. Now what I do is I've got a needle, like a needle and thread right here. You can see these are pretty big needles, and I do that because I have a hard time seeing small things. It stinks to get old because then your eyes go first. So I'm going to take my thread, put it through the needle like that, then take the needle and use that to go through the holes. And I usually keep the needles in my range box so that I know where they are. So I'm trying to find that hole coming through. Okay, so now I'm through. I'll pull it all the way through. Pull the needle off, and I'm going to cut the string. Now I use cotton thread. Polyester or polyester thread will work just as well. The reason I use cotton is because plastic polyester will melt before it burns. And when it melts, it's going to leave a blob on there on the end of the string, and it could get caught in the hole. The reason I like cotton is cotton will actually burn, doesn't leave any blobs on the end. So what we do is we will start out with the string, and we're going to crisscross it like this, flip the rocket over, and now we're going to tie it. And we want to tie it real tight, but not so tight that we cut into the balsa. Okay, so I want to do tight, and if you have somebody, get a friend, have them put their finger there so you can cinch down, because you want this nice and tight. See, I didn't get it. See, without having somebody's finger there. So I'm going to cut it, try it again. Try this one more time. Okay, so it's coming through. I'm going to crisscross. Come around the opposite side and then tie it. Now, because I don't have somebody here with a finger, I am going to cheat and put a little drop of glue right there. The unfortunate thing is I glued it to the balsa wood, but you get the idea. It's just I wanted it nice and tight. So normally in the field, I would find somebody and have them put their finger on the knot while I'm cinching it down. So just pretend that's what I did. Okay, now, oh, but before you do that, you have to put the rocket motor in. So to put the rocket motor in, you'll put the rocket in, and then you're going to take masking tape. And with the blades down now, it's kind of hard to do this, but it has to go between the blade against the tube. We're going to put the masking tape around the rocket motor like that. So imagine that's our rocket motor. You know, cinch it down really good. Make sure that the motor can't come out back because it's the tape that's holding it in. And that's why the fins are start up a little bit from the end of the tube so that we can wrap tape around. And this is in the instructions, you'll see that. Okay, so now we can bring the rubber bands, put them on the hooks. Just like that. Okay, so now when the rocket's ready to launch, what's going to happen, and I'll simulate this with my knife, the rocket goes up, the ejection charge goes off, and it burns that thread in the middle, releases the blades, and then the blades can start spinning, just like that. So that is the Heli-Roc rocket. My name again was Tim Van Milligan. This is the Apogee Rocketry Workshop. Over here to the side we have some other videos I think that you're going to enjoy. So until next time, may the winds be light and may the skies be blue. May all your rockets fly straight and true.